Hey, welcome back to the Laker family. Let's get right into tonight's last game between the Lakers and the Grizzlies. Wow. Wow, guys. All I can say is wow. That Anthony Davis is something special. Very special. Man, if y'all watched my last video, it was 2 videos ago. I made a video on did we give up way too much for Anthony Davis, which I still feel like we may have not had to give up so much if they weren't devalued the way they were through the media or whatnot. I watched Shannon earlier on Undisputed when he was speaking on this, when he was saying stuff like there's a Brandon Ingram that comes through every draft. There's a Lonzo Ball that comes through every draft. I disagree. I disagree with that. Have you guys watched Ingram this year? I think he's averaging like 27, 10, and shooting 50% from three-point range. There's not a lot of guys doing that in this league, Shannon. Lonzo, there's not a lot of guys in the league that's putting up near triple doubles, especially at that age, that can play as elite defense. So I kind of disagree with him on that standpoint, but he's right on the part to where Anthony Davis is just like on a whole nother level, and it's just something special, and we are very fortunate to have this guy on our team. The only thing as far as the trade, that went along in that, I was saying that we may have not had to give up so much if our players weren't constantly being devalued, just as Shannon tried to do today. Still taking little subtle jabs. It's a player like them every draft. I like to count on one hand how many players are averaging what Ingram is doing. I saw a stat where it was they said he was the fastest player, faster than DeMarcus Cousins through the first 4 games, any 4 game stretch with the Pelicans to put up that many points. And Anthony Davis was there for how long? But Ingram was the fastest in a Pelican jersey to average that many points within a 4 game span. But that's enough about those guys there in the past. But I was just wanted to speak a little bit on that, as far as we still could have kept maybe at least one of those. Imagine Lonzo Ball being kept on his team if we didn't devalue them so much, where we had to give up so much in that deal. Having another playmaker like Lonzo Ball on this team still, because I saw, even though the offensive numbers were so great from an individual standpoint, as a team unit, it wasn't so. It wasn't real much of a flow. I wasn't seeing a lot of playmaking from guards, like a lot of penetration, and somebody else that can do that besides LeBron James. Somebody that can drive, make the defense collapse, something like that. To that degree, because it's all right now. It's fine now because we have extraordinary talent on the team that can kind of hide those things, but you're not going to be able to hide it as much once you start playing some of the upper echelon teams in the West, and especially come playoff times, you won't be able to hide those things as much. They may have to end up, maybe before trade deadline, looking for another playmaking guard or something like that. I don't know. Maybe Rondo can come. When Rondo comes back, it may look a little bit better. Kuzma is going to be another option that can kind of help keep the offense flowing the way it's supposed to, and not get it as stagnant as much as it looks at times now. And with that being said, we still are putting up 120 points, guys. So that's just amazing in itself that we're able to put out that type of production, even when we're still trying to figure things out. That's very impressive. Um, the Grizzlies, they had Ja Morant, which was being hounded all night by Avery Bradley. I've been very impressed with Avery Bradley on the defensive end this whole season. He has not disappointed yet. Because the guy, Ja Morant, just came off a high-scoring game, scoring like 30 points or something like that against Kyrie. And Avery Bradley just said, no, shut it down. Our bigs, they did a hell of a job once again, defensively as well, giving up nothing to the Grizzlies' big man. They struggled to get anything going all night. So our defense is looking elite, very elite. We've been holding teams to 90, 80. And you all know this day and age, it is very hard to hold any team. I don't care what team it is. It's hard to hold any team under 100 points. And you have the hater, Skip Bayless or whatever, throwing little subtle jabs in there talking about, oh, it's just the Grizzlies and da-da-da-da-da. Let Kawhi had put up those Anthony Davis type numbers. He would have been, anointing him as the best player ever. And he's this way better than LeBron, blah, 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 blah. So I try not to pay attention to crap like that. And I told y'all that's the reason, part of the reason why I started this channel is to call out crap when I see it. And it just is what it is with that. We are known to have a lot of haters like that, not just Skip Bayless, just nitpick. We're blowing out teams, guys, and they still finding little things to nitpick about, which is ridiculous. The only things that I was really concerned with were the bench production. It's not where it needs to be. There's guys like Caruso that a lot of you guys were hyped about. And I told y'all a couple of videos ago, I don't really see why y'all were so hyped about him to begin with, because when he went through that little hot stretch at the end of last year, it was a lot against a lot of tanking teams, or against teams that were already kind of set in the standings and wasn't really trying as hard. And now he just looks like a G leaguer. I don't know what's going on, but Quinn Cook was another guy that I expected a little bit more from, and he hasn't really shown much to start the season. Maybe he's still trying to get acclimated to his spots and where he needs to be effective at, waiting on Anthony Davis and LeBron James to kind of maybe feed him. I don't know, but hopefully he can get it together. Caldwell Pope had another decent game. At least it wasn't, one of those trash KCP type of games. Dwight Howard was a little silent tonight, but that's fine. He's going to have those type of games here and there. We're not expecting him to be elite every night. As long as he's serviceable, and then he has those nights like he had the game before. If he can bring that energy from time to time, it doesn't have to be every night, but just key moments is where Dwight Howard would be mostly needed. Let me see who I'm missing. JaVale McGee. His minutes seem to be kind of shrinking. Obviously, there's something that he's, like I said before, there's something he's showing or not showing enough to the coaching staff that's having them pull him and not play him as much. Like I said, I saw a couple of Shaq and a Fool moments from him, and he's been kind of let down to a certain extent, not all the way, because he still tries on the defensive end. It's just we haven't got the JaVale McGee from last year when he was looking like the most improved player, I think, behind Siakam. We need that JaVale McGee back. If we want to be actual, like, legit contenders, we don't need Shaq and the Fool JaVale McGee. So I think I think that covered it all. You know, most of the bulk of it. But we have another great task coming up with the Dallas Mavericks. Porzingis and Doncic. They've been having a great year so far, and their chemistry looks flawless. They just beat the Denver Nuggets last night in another good game. Those guys look like serious contenders. I know a lot of people had questions about them making the 8th spot, but I see them making the playoffs. That team looks dangerous, especially if they try to go out and add another acquisition before the trade deadline. That's a scary team to watch out for in the West and in the playoffs. So I don't think anybody wants to see that team in a 7-game series, especially like not a first-round matchup to be playing them. That I would try to avoid a team like that in the playoffs. But this is going to be like one of those bar tests to see kind of like where we are again. The Clippers game was like one of those bar tests. This is going to be another bar test type of game. And the Jazz game was a bar test. So let's just make this game more of a focal point to get more chemistry going between our duo stars, and also to try to get that bench going a little bit more. Because so far I've been a little concerned with that. I need to see more productivity from them, so it won't be so much of a workload on the starting unit. And I know Kuzma's going to help a little bit, a lot with that once he comes back. But before he comes back, I still want to see guys step up off our bench a little bit more than that. So hopefully they can, the bench can shake back a little bit better than that this next game versus the Dallas Mavericks. But I think that's all I have for today, guys. Thank y'all for joining me. And as always, if y'all want to be a part of the Laker family, like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all next time. Stay tuned.